Welcome back to the channel. Some of you have asked, how do I have my kayak set up for crappie fishing? So this video is going to answer that question for you today. Here is my kayak. It's the Bonafide Expedition 123 model. And now this is not my first kayak. This is probably number 6 now. When I owned my Jackson Coosa, I actually had more poles out on it because it was a sit on top and I was able to do a little bit more with it. But the sit in works just as well. Now I actually went spider rigging yesterday. I went into a cove, set up my poles, and I caught a couple. And that's about it. I mean, literally everyone in there, there's probably 25 boats in this one cove. It's supposedly hot. I'll show you the Game and Fish little news thing right now. But yeah, so 25 of us went in there thinking the same idea. And even those big old bass boats with 8 poles out in front of them, spider rigging, they weren't catching a thing. Seriously, they weren't catching anything. So the new year, I actually caught 2 fish. I caught a white bass and a crappie. And I'll take a little bit of time to show you those 2 catches right now. All right, well, that was it. Not enough to really make a whole video out of, so that's why I'm doing this one and showing you my setup. Now, this setup does work. Unfortunately, the crappie bite was just bad that day. So anyways, I'm gonna walk you through my current setup and a couple things I'm gonna change once I get the parts in. First, I wanna start out with my trolling poles right here. Now, I currently have 2. I am gonna add a 3rd one, but I'm gonna put another rod holder right here in the middle. And so I'll have 1 down the middle and I'll have 2 out to the side. So I'll have 3 total eventually. But right now this worked out perfectly and I had no complaints with it. These are actually 9-foot poles. If you notice, right here is the end of my kayak. They actually hang in front of my kayak about another 3.5 feet. So that is perfect distance. That way the minnows will arrive to the fish's face before I spook them with my kayak, especially if I'm paddling very stealth and not making a lot of ruckus. Now you could go with 10-footers, but I prefer the 9-footers. Just they're a little bit more easy to handle, especially when you're underneath a bridge or underneath trees, stuff like that. To help y'all out, this Omega thing is kind of annoying. I went ahead and got 1 Zuka tube and 1 Omega rod holder from Yak Attack, but I prefer the Zuka tube. I'll show you here shortly. This one is, once I was trolling with it, my pole wanted to slip forward. It's not very secure in there. Because if you look at the front, there's not really a locking mechanism like the Zuka tube over there. That's perfect for spinning rods. Which these are great for bait casters, of course, and all the... It's great for spinning rods too, but for trolling purposes, to pull it off easily and put it back in, it's not the best. Now, in order to be confident that I wasn't going to lose my pole in the water, that's the best setup. That way it's locked in. If I do get a bite, it won't pull it off. So I was just a little bit nervous about that yesterday, but I end up never losing my rod, obviously. But it felt like it came close a couple times. So anyways, if you are going to set up your kayak for trolling, I like the Zuka tubes. Let me show you why. All right, now check out the Zuka tube. All you have to do, if you get a bite, twist and pop out. Unlike the Omega over there, there's nothing on the front catching it from sliding forward. Like this one, I can't pull out. All right, I have to actually twist it real quick and then pull out, which is really, really easy to do. Now the Omega, I can simply just pull it straight out. So the Omega, I'm eventually going to move it here in the center and put another Zuka tube on that side, having 3 poles. So if you are going to do this to your own kayak, these Yakutech Zuka tubes are awesome, especially with the spinning reels. Now this is actually what I troll with. These are the B&M brand. It's slow vertical trolling. They're already pre-made. Can you make these yourself? Absolutely. But Walmart sells these for $10. You can probably make them for $6 or $7. So the extra few bucks, it's real easy just to get these. So these are actually the 3/8 ounce. And they're good for ranges from 2 to 7 feet. Now the lake I fish is actually a very shallow lake. So those are perfect for most of the time, most conditions where I'm trolling for. And usually crappie fishing, I only have this one box. This is all I need. I have a few of my favorite plastics for stain or clear water. And I have my favorite hook in there is usually the orange head 16-ounce hooks. And I have some Aberdeen number 2s in there. Now if I am using minnows, I'll usually have this this is a micro bucket. This holds at least a pound of minnows or a few dozen. I'll have my little floating scooper. I'll just put this between my legs, and it's not uncomfortable at all. I mean, it's perfect size just to sit between my legs. I also have one of those minnow buckets that you have to keep in the water and drag. But when I'm kind of trolling, I need a good constant speed paddling. Or if the wind's blowing me, then I prefer to have all that stuff in the boat with me versus having all that drag. So this is just a little bucket you get at Walmart, a real small bucket. And I'll put that between my legs and scoop a minnow out when I need to. Now, if the minnows are looking like they need a little bit more oxygen for stay, back here in my crappie bucket, I have this little cut off laundry detergent scooper that I made. I just left the handle on it and I just reach to the side of my kayak course and dump some more water in there and kind of circulate the water a little bit. Here's my milk crate. This is how I have it set up. I actually have the milk crate installed. That way I can still take 2 extra poles with me, or maybe put my flag for visibility on there. Now here's just a 5-gallon bucket. I'll actually put it down in the milk crate and use my bungee to kind of secure it, which is going to be secured anyways, but actually when you crisscross the bungees, it makes this whole setup even more snug. If I catch some crappie, I'll actually just dip this on the side, pour some water in here, versus twisting or having the water already in there. That way I can be more mobile and not have all that weight. But if I do catch a fish, I can easily grab some water and dump it in there and add to it, or take away, of course. All right, there's my little crappie measuring tool. Now on this side, my ceiling in my garage is just a little too short, but I usually take a couple poles with me as well. Now this pole right here, I have it set up as a double rig. I'll have these 2 little grub type baits on here, about probably 18 inches apart, and these are 16-ounce heads on there. And I'll just kind of fan cast, see if I can find a concentration of crappie. If I find that concentration, it helps me speed up time for trolling. I'll just kind of troll that area once I catch 1 or 2. But crappie are very finicky. Sometimes you don't even catch them on a moving bait like that. They want it dead right in their face. Now right here is my other setup. If I find a good little spot where I want to kind of cast and not go over it with my kayak, if I'm not trolling, then I have a slip bobber set up. I have an Aberdeen number 2 size hook on there. I have a split shot. Usually the split shot's up above it 6 to 10 inches. And then I have a slip bobber. I also have a bead on there. And then somewhere up the line, I'll use a, just a bobber stopper. Now I do want to show you one more thing. If it's a good clear day, and there's no rain in the forecast or anything like that, I'll actually take this hatch off, completely off. You can remove it. That's what's great about the Bonafide hatches. You just pinch these together and you can remove that whole hatch. And my live well, a homemade DIY live well, actually fits perfectly in that hatch. Then I have a bilge pump that I just kind of toss to the side of my kayak, pump water in there. If you flip the switch here on the side, it'll turn on and put some water in that bucket where I don't have to actually pour. Now, if I'm just going jigging between lily pads and stuff like that, I'll take 1 jig pole or a 9-foot pole. I'll tie a 16-ounce jig head to it. and I put a little, you know, tube or something on there. But that is my crappie kayak fishing setup. All right, now to the moment that you've all been waiting for. This is actually not the prize. I'm just going to order the prize off of Amazon and ship it to you directly, whoever the winner is. It's going to be my favorite creek fishing baits, mainly bass or smallmouth, stuff like that. I prefer catching bass, but you'll also catch some other species with these baits too. You're going to get it like a little waterproof box. So you'll have some bitsy tubes in this box. You also have the hooks I use on those bitsy tubes. You'll receive one of my favorite crankbaits for fishing creeks, one of my favorite spinner baits for fishing creeks. So it's going to be a good prize for one of you lucky winners out there. Now, if your name gets called, please contact me via email or Facebook or Instagram. Send me a message, a private message with your address on it. And I'll get these shipped to you. That way you can start enjoying and do some creek fishing. So good luck to you all, and let's get to drawing. All right, there's your winner. Congratulations. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this video and the little small little walkthrough of how I set up my kayak for crappie fishing, whether it be trolling or just using a slip bobber or jigging. So that's my current setup. Like I said, I am going to add another rod eventually. I just haven't done it yet because you know, this stuff is expensive. It's not cheap. I hope this video gave you some new ideas or gave you some thoughts like, that's stupid. I'm going to make that way better. So anyways, thanks for watching. I hope to catch you on the next video.